You know what that red sky means, right? A storm's brewing. Hello Miners and welcome back. This week I'm getting back to my roots. That's right, I'm Stormin, and this week I am playing Ruby Storm. Y'all know it, y'all love it. For those of you who don't know, this is a Storm deck that uses red instead of the traditional black Storm variants, and it plans on killing your opponents by creating a ton of mana with our rituals and cost reducers and churning through our deck with impulse card draw to find the cards we need and keep going, and eventually getting enough storm to be able to use one of our wishes to go grab whatever win con we need out of the sideboard, and a little bit of added redundancy to be able to double up our spells with bonus round. So it's a pretty straightforward deck. It's a mono red, which is nice. It makes the mana super easy, and the entire deck is highly redundant, so it is super easy to be able to go off even off of relatively low resources, because the deck is able to just churn through itself and keep going even when you're starting from almost nothing. There's not really any big changes to this deck from the last time I played it. A few differences here and there. I'm trying out Pinnacle Monk mostly as a land, but it does have the ability to buy back spells if I start to fizzle and I have enough mana. So we're going to see if that ends up becoming relevant. So in general, I wanted to play something fun that I also thought was going to be pretty good against the meta at the moment. These red Storm decks typically have a pretty good matchup up against the blue tempo style decks because they are so redundant and are able to just overwhelm the opponent with the huge amount of spells that they can cast. So your opponent may be sitting on one or two counter spells, but your deck is so redundant and you're able to churn through it so quickly and so consistently that you're kind of able to just overwhelm their defenses. Add in the fact that you've got two main deck defense grids to be able to fight against their counter spells. And this is a style of deck that does just traditionally prey on blue decks. It's also really positioned well against black decks at the moment because the only real card draw you have is Manamorphose. All of your card draw is mostly impulse style draw, which doesn't actually draw and trigger Bowmaster. So it's a nice way to be able to churn through your deck without having to worry about a Bowmaster pinging you down as you're going through your deck and doing your thing. The sideboard is almost entirely a wish board, whether it's your win cons in the form of Grape Shot or Elemental Eruption or Fiery Confluence to be able to kill your opponent once your storm is high enough, or various silver bullets for different situations, such as Bifrost to be able to get rid of artifacts, Banefire just to be able to mop up the board however you need to, or dome your opponent for a ton when you can have a ton of mana but your storm isn't high enough, or even just something as simple as a Rite of Flame to get you some more mana. So pretty much all just a wish board for the most part. Nothing crazy there. 4 Leyline of the Void specifically for all the graveyard decks that are running around, and then an additional copy of Blast Zone just to mop up any kind of problematic hate permanents your opponent has. So let's see if we can storm our way through the meta, see how I can do with Ruby Storm. It's been a minute since I played it, so let's try to brush off the dust, get in it, take it through League. I'll catch you all in the wrap-up. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Alright, won the die roll, let's go. See if we can storm out, and I like this hand. We're gonna go ahead and keep this. I would have preferred a soul land, but I will absolutely take this. Going to start off with a mountain and pass, and then I think what we're going to do is start out with Ruby Medallion and then play Ral and go from there. Because there's some debate about which one of these we should play first, but I think I want to save the Ral from potential removal because we're not doing both. And our opponent is passing the turn. Is this just going to be like a hard discard for a Reanimator? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So that should be fine then. We're going to go ahead and play the Ruby Medallion. This is another reason why we're not playing out Ral, because we're probably going to have to sack it to this Archon anyways. And we can pretty easily just chuck this Pinnacle Monk to the wind. We could also always just hold on to it. Okay. So do they take the Ral or do they take the card draw is the question. them holding off with this Thoughtseize is mildly problematic. The question is if this is a basic swamp, is this Dimir Reanimator or is this going to be a Turbo Reanimator? Because they could have Lotus Petal Reanimate to do their thing, and then we're just kind of in the dirt. However, we have more game against Turbo Reanimator in the sideboard than we do versus Dimir Reanimator. So, we'll see. They took the card draw. Okay. And it looks like they don't have a Lotus Petal, so that's good. I would very much like some card draw to be able to start going off with this Ral. What can we do with a Burning Wish is the question. So let's see here. What can we do with a Burning Wish? We don't have anything we can hit to take their graveyard, but we're going to end up having... So we pay 1 for Ral, play this, go up to 5 mana, go to 4 mana. We can Inspired Tinkering and see where this goes from there. And I think that's probably our best bet, honestly. So let's do that. We'll play this, play Ral, play a Seething Song for 1 mana, go up to 5 mana, we'll have 6 mana. Heads, 1 to flip. We do not want to flip Ral yet. Then we will play Burning Wish. Let's always yield to Ral. So this is going to be number 2. So we need 7 spells before we can realistically pop off here. Do heads. 1 to flip. Okay. Do not flip Ral. Use Burning Wish. And again, so we've got 4 mana. We could do a small Elemental Eruption and hope that that's enough to kill them. Because it'd be an Elemental Eruption for 4. So we get 4 dragons. They reanimate. We can kill around the Archon. We could also grab Inspired Tinkering and spin. We could grab Jeska's Will and hope that that does some stuff. But this gives us 3 treasures, so it actually ends up being a wash mana-wise. So I think we're going to grab the Inspired Tinkering. Pay 2. We're winning these flips like crazy. I like that. But we're still not going to flip it. Alright. We hit a bonus round, which we could bonus round, go grab Burning Wish. Or bonus round, get 2 Burning Wishes, which isn't terrible. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Play bonus round. This is 5. Finally lost a flip. So they're either Turbo Reanimator that doesn't have counter spells, or they're Dimir Reanimator and they're just missing a counter spell. Alright, lost a flip. Finally starting to lose our flips. We get 2 Burning Wishes. So the first one, we need to grab... Well, we could grab Jeska's Will, which will give us a shitload of mana. And then Elemental Eruption with the other one? I think that's our best bet here. Yeah, let's grab Jeska's Will with the first. This is going to give us a ton of mana. Then we will grab Elemental Eruption. We will cast Jeska's Will to make a metric fuck ton of mana. Now we're good to flip Ral if we win, but we lost that flip. Same target. Alright, this should be 12 mana. So with 12 mana, we can actually Pinnacle Monk to get back Inspired Tinkering. So I think we're going to do that. Cast Pinnacle Monk, get back Inspired Tinkering. Play Inspired Tinkering again. Again, this is going to be a wash for mana. See if we flip Ral. Heads. We won the flip. We will flip Ral. We should have this one in the bank now. And we get 2 Inspired Tinkerings. And the opponent scoops it up at that. Okay. So I'm guessing they are Turbo Reanimator based off of what we're seeing here. And if that is the case, then we want the Leyline of the Voids in. We can go ahead and take out Defense Grids. And then, honestly, probably take out the Pinnacle Monks. I mean, it was cool in that game, but we probably could have won without it. It's also our worst land, and our life total is going to matter. I could be wrong. This could just be Dimir Reanimator, and they kept a bad hand, or a hand without any kind of interaction in it outside of discard. But seeing as they led on hard discard Archon, basic Swamp Thoughtseize, I'm leaning toward this being traditional Turbo Reanimator. So, Leyline's in, Defense Grid's out, Pinnacle Monk out. We will adjust accordingly if we go to a Game 3. If they weren't on Turbo Reanimator, this would be an okay hand, but we're relying really hard on them not discarding our hand or anything like that. I think we're going to ship it. I mean, this is actually pretty good. We just need to hit mana, and I'm going to trust the deck that we're going to. I'm going to bin Burning Wish for now. And let's drop a ley line, and we're hoping that they're Turbo Reanimator, basically, and that they don't have a fair game plan. Underground Sea. Okay, we may have boarded incorrectly here. So it is Dimir Reanimator already. But at least their Oops I Win Reanimate button is off at the moment. Manamorphose, okay. We basically just need mana at this point. I would love a Soul Land to be able to play around a Daze here. The next part is our deck is pretty well insulated up against Wasteland as well because we're mono red and we have so many basics. Into an Undercity Informer after attacking with the Tamiyo, that's fine. Or, wow, Undercity Sewers. Kept whatever it was on top. That's mildly concerning. Ruby Medallion that we can't play. Okay, well, we just need lands. We're relatively mana light, unfortunately. There are only 14 lands in the deck. 16 if you counted the Pinnacle Monks. So perhaps it was incorrect to board out some lands, but we'll see. The next part is our hand is pretty well redundant as far as Thoughtseize is concerned. And the opponent is not presenting a clock yet. And there's a Wasteland, which we don't really care about. Ponder, okay. They can flip this Tamiyo. And they did not shuffle. Okay, they are just going to flip the Tamiyo. Question is, how much counter magic do they have? There's a land, okay. So do we want to start out with the Ritual to try to play around Daze is the question. Or do we want to try to slam one of these? I think we're going to start with the Ritual. I feel like that's not what they're going to counter. I could be wrong, though. Okay, we got a Daze out of hand. Okay. I mean, luckily, once we get one of our enablers down, Manamorph... Okay, there's an Entomb to get a dead card out of deck. That's fine. So they didn't want whatever they put back on top. They only wanted one card out of their out of their Ponder. That's basically just a shuffle. Replaying the Underground Sea. Upticking Tamiyo. We do need to be able to stick something and get through before this Tamiyo goes off. There's a Manamorphose. I think we're going to start with Ruby Medallion. We'd rather this get countered than Ral. Drawing with a Clue token. Okay. And another Daze down. Okay. We really need a land to be able to go off with this Ral. Otherwise, the Tamiyo is going to uptick, and then we're probably just not going to be able to win at that point because they're going to have half of their deck in their hand. Brainstorming. Okay. So we will definitely bring the defense grids in for game 3 if we get to one. Like, we definitely still can wiggle our way out of this. A different land. And they're shuffling right away into another Underground Sea. Into a Ponder. So we basically just have to hit a land or a Ritual, and for them to have not found another counterspell. There are 2 Dazes down already, but they probably got 8 forces. And Tamiyo upticks, so we need to hit a land or a Ritual, and for our opponent to have basically no counter magic. That is a Reckless Impulse. Well, we have a couple of redraws if they don't counter this. Alright, they didn't counter that. Bonus round. Okay, these were our rituals, so unfortunately I don't think we're going to be able to do anything here. Into a Seething Song that we can't play. Okay, yeah, no, we just fizzled. That's fine. Got hit by double Daze, got a little mana screwed, boarded incorrectly because I was thinking that they were on Turbo Reanimator based off of that game 1. That said, let's bring the defense grids back in. Like, there's a part of me that wants to just completely deboard here and bring the Pinnacle Monks back in as well. I think I am going to bring the Pinnacle Monks in, but I'm going to board differently as well. Let's take one Past in Flames out. Let's take... But the question becomes is what else do we want to take out here? Like, maybe we take out a Ley Line. Like, the Reckless Impulses and everything are redundant, but we really do want them. This is a really weird deck to board with here. Like, maybe we go down 2 Ley Lines. We don't have to mulligan as heavily for them, maybe. Like, we could even go so far as do, like, a single Ley Line, and if we happen to have it in a good hand, we have it, and we won't mulligan aggressively for it. We could also maybe take out, like, 1 Seething Song. It's our worst ritual. So maybe we do want to just take out 1. Do 2 Ley Lines, just, if we have them, we have them. Bring those defense curves back in. Bring the Pinnacle Monks back in for mana count. Yeah, let's try that. Alright, give me a good hand. 1 lander. I don't think we can keep this. I think we gotta ship it. This is interesting. So what, we've got Rite of Flame into Ren's Resolve on one, or we can Rite of Flame into Burning Wish to grab another Rite of Flame to try to go off a little harder the next turn. I think we're going to keep this. We're going to put the bonus round back for now. I think we're just going to turn one, try to Ren's Resolve, set up for the following turn, and hope that we hit what we need. So let's Mountain, Rite of Flame, Ren's Resolve. Alright, we got a Past in Flames and a Reckless Impulse that we can cast next turn. And opponent is Bloodstained Mire, cracks it instantly. Grabs an Underground Sea. Into a Thoughtseize. I'm assuming that means Burning Wish is probably going to go away here. Yes, Burning Wish is gone. Into another Reckless Impulse. Well, we will cast this one. Set up some more stuff for next turn. Our Past in Flames is gone. Bonus round Manamorphose. Okay. Past in Flames is gone. The nice part is this stuff being in exile means that our opponent can't take it. Wasteland is pretty much dead here. I'm fine with that. Thoughtseize, okay. I'm assuming they're just going to take the Reckless Impulse that's in our hand. A land to try to pop off the Seething Song would be nice. Because then I can bonus round into Manamorphose, assuming they don't counter it. They might also just leave the Reckless Impulse in hand. Yeah, they don't want us getting mana, which is kind of understandable. There's a Reckless Impulse. Well, let's Manamorphose. They're letting this go. We draw a card. Another Reckless Impulse. Well, Reckless Impulse. Mountain and Ral. We can play the Mountain. And we can try to Ral next turn. Because we can Ral and then do a single Reckless Impulse. It looks like our opponent is playing very defensively. We can play around a Daze. That's a Manamorphose. I mean, the Ral is play it or lose it, so... Alright, we get two cards out of hand. Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation. Okay. We have a redraw. We have some impulse draws. Do they have the Reanimate? No, it's an Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I'm not super concerned about that. That does make our Manamorphose a little bit worse, but that's not the end of the world. They're also starting to get low on resources. And luckily, these impulses don't actually draw cards, so they don't fuel the orcs. We hit another Ral, so I mean, let's do it. See what we can do here. That resolved. Do I want to Manamorphose and let them grow their thing here? If they have another Bowmaster that's a little annoying, I think we're going to set up for next turn and hope for the best. We'll do heads. We also could actually tick up Ral, flip it, kill their Bowmaster. I actually don't hate that. We actually are going to flip the Ral here. Another Ral and an Ancient Tomb. Play the Ancient Tomb. We're actually going to tick down to kill the board and turn on our Manamorphose again. If they have another Bowmaster, it's fine, because they have another Ral to try to go off with. And they appear to not. We can also tick up the Ral for the discount. And we can play the other Ral out of exile as well. I'm mostly just scared of Entomb into Reanimate all at once. Okay, Barragoyf is fine. I don't care about that. Basically, we just want to make sure that they don't have a Force of Will or something, but I think they would have forced already if they had anything. There's a Burning Wish. So let's play Ral. This might get a Force of Will out of their hand. Does not look like it. We can tick up this Ral, make our stuff even cheaper. Manamorphose as a ritual. And this is spell number 1, so we want to get this to 7. Lost the flip. Make some mana. We draw Ruby Medallion. That doesn't help us at the moment. Play a Reckless Impulse. Lost that flip. Okay. Desperate Ritual gives us some mana. Go heads. Lost that flip. How much mana is this now? We've got 5 mana. Everything costs 2 less. So we can Burning Wish, go down to 4 mana, grab an Elemental Eruption, which will cost 4, and just make a big board of flyers and try to go crazy. We could Burning Wish, go grab Inspired Tinkering, which gives us some more mana and gives us some more flips. I think Elemental Eruption honestly might be our best bet. Oh no, I didn't play a land yet, so I've got 6 mana to work with. Go down to 5. Grab Elemental Eruption or grab Inspired Tinkering. Go down to 5. Go down to 3. Inspired Tinkering becomes a wash because it makes 3 tokens, but if that whiffs, we're kind of just screwed. I think our best bet here is just to go grab, whatchamacallit, heads, 1 the flip. I don't want to flip it yet. Let's go grab the elemental eruption. And we're just going to try to win with the Dargans. And I actually can cast this because then that'll make it 3 mana. So let's cast Ruby Medallion. And opponent scoops it up. Okay, that was enough. Just going to be a big board of dragons to take him down. All right, on the board. I like it. On to the next one. All right, won the die roll. Let's go. So this is a turn 2 Ruby Medallion. I think we're going to keep this. I'd like it if it was a little bit faster and we didn't have to bolt ourselves with one of these monks. This is also a little weak to a wasteland, but we'll see. Alright, opponent kept on 7 as well. Play a Pinnacle Monk. Have it enter tap. Save ourselves a little bit of life right now. See what our opponent's up to over there. Playing this land might throw our opponent for a loop. There's not a lot of decks that play this. And with Ruby Storm not really being a meta deck at the moment, they're probably not super in tune with the fact that this very heavily hints that we're Ruby Storm, but we'll see. Alright, after a long pause, Urza's Saga from the opponent. And a pass. Okay. Not really sure what our opponent's doing over there. Another Ruby Medallion. So, let's bolt ourselves here. Do a Desperate Ritual. Because this will allow us to Ruby Medallion and then Ren's Resolve. Ruby Medallion is down, and then we will Ren's Resolve. We have another Ren's Resolve and an Ancient Tomb for next turn. Okay. So what we can do is Ancient Tomb, play the other Ruby Medallion, and then both of these only cost 1. If this is lands, then I like where we're at. Because lands typically is pretty bad against Storm decks, unless they're the, like, Sphere of Resistance builds, but we'll see. This could also be 8 casts. This could be a Saga Storm deck of some sort. So, like, just Urza's Saga pass doesn't necessarily mean anything. I'm just leaning toward lands because I've been running into a ton of it lately. But the City of Traders means there's some kind of Stompy deck, or they're like Black Saga Storm. But that should mean that they're not going to have counter magic, and they're also heavily relying on these constructs. So we will play Ancient Tomb, damage ourselves a little bit more. And I'm just debating if I want to go for mana yet. This is only going to cost 1 mana. So I think we can start with the Ren's Resolve and make our plan from there. Burning Wish, Ren's Resolve. Okay. Well, we're going to Seething Song. This should do a lot to our opponent here. Like, between the Burning Wish, the Ren's Resolves, and the pure amount of mana that we have, this should be able to lead to a win one way or another. And they're just making a Saga construct. That's fine. Let's cast a Ren's Resolve. With Past in Flames, we're pretty much golden. So let's Reckless Impulse again. Okay. We can cast Ral. We can Jessica's Will for mana, since we can get it back for cards later. Just make a ton of mana here. 1 the flip. I have cast, so I need this to be 9 before I flip the Ral. And that is a bunch of mana. We are going to go ahead and Past in Flames here. 1 more spell before we can flip Ral. But we lost that flip anyway, so that's fine. Just cast our rituals to start. Lost that flip. Okay. Pop our graveyard out. Then recast Seething Song. Heads. 1 the flip. Yes, we will flip Ral now. We can Seething Song. Let's go ahead and negative Ral. See what we got going on over here. We can cast a Seething Song for free. Or we can cast a bonus round for free, actually. Now all of our stuff is doubled. Always yield to this. And this should be pretty simple from here. We still have stuff in the graveyard that we can cast. Let's cast a Rite of Flame. Just put a bunch of stuff in the graveyard. Like, this is pretty trivial from here. We have just absurd amounts of mana. Let's Burning Wish. Go grab our Grape Shot. And then we can go ahead and grab a Rite of Flame. Just to increase some stuff a little bit. Get 2 Rite of Flames. I think our opponent... Yes, our opponent scooped it up. Okay, so that was pretty trivial. That said, we don't actually know what our opponent's doing over there. We just saw Urza's Saga, City of Traders, and they made a construct. We don't know what flavor of Saga deck they're on. So I think we're probably just gonna run it back until we know any differently. It still could be lands. I have seen lands that play City of Traders before to get some fast mana to drop block pieces, but I'm leaning toward probably either Black Saga Storm or possibly like Mono Red Stompy. So I think we're just gonna run it back until we know any different. Okay, so what do we got here? We got turn 2 Ruby Medallion, Manamore. I like this. We're gonna keep this. Not knowing what our opponents again are up to is a little weird. The defense grid's probably not necessary, but you never know. Put a mulligan to 6. Okay, it is Mono Red Stompy. Okay. So Shatterskull Smashing Tap. Like, we really don't have anything we care about boarding against this deck anyways. So let's go ahead and just slam a mountain. We'll probably just play turn 2 Ruby Medallion and hope that we can just go off on turn 3. City of Traders. Simian Spirit Guide. Untapping all their mana. Okay, were they trying to cast the Simian Spirit Guide? Like, they could One Ring here, but we can win through a One Ring depending on what happens. It's also rare for them to be able to kill us in one turn. So we should be able to take a turn off to play the Ruby Medallion and pass. However, they could have artifact removal. Alright, retapping all their stuff and exiling Simian Spirit Guide. Ooh, Chalice on 2. That is annoying. Okay. So play a land and pass, I guess. Yeah, unfortunately, Chalice on 2 actually hits a good chunk of our deck. Did they keep this based on a lock piece, or do they have a follow-up? Okay, they got Broadside Boomby Dooms. So they have a clock now. Come on, chuck the Chalice on my face. Do it. No, they're just going to hold on to it until they have lethal. That's totally understandable. So we could Jeska's Will, but we can't do anything with it yet. So we kind of just have to play a land and pass. I think they might have us here, unfortunately. I really don't know a good way to get around a Chalice on 2. Like, we would need to hit our 3 mana and 1 mana rituals, find an actual wish, which there's only one of, and then be able to get something like Byforce. That being said, again, if this goes to game 3, I really don't even know what we should board, if anything. Okay, just playing a Simian Spirit Guide. They're just going to chuck that at our face. We also could get down... Theoretically, we could get to a point where we cast both of our Pinnacle Monks. Are they chucking the Spirit Guide? Yes, they already got to the chuck the Spirit Guide part of the game. Okay. Desperate Ritual. Okay, that's interesting. So I think we play Mountain. Like, we can try to finagle our way around this. We'll have 5 mana next turn. We can bonus round to get double... Well, no, we can't even cast Desperate Ritual because of this. I mean, technically one of them will resolve. Fable the Mirror Breaker, okay. Like, bonus round is kind of a way around Chalice of the Void. I don't think it counters the copies because the copies aren't cast. Alright, getting in. Are they going to chuck their dude at me is the question. No. Okay. Manamorphose. Alright, so I guess we're going to see if this will work. So, play Pinnacle Monk. Bolt ourselves to 6. Cast a bonus round. The copies should not get countered. So let's Desperate Ritual. One's gonna get countered. The copy shouldn't. Alright, yeah, the copy doesn't get countered. This is mana neutral. Always yield to that. Make some red. Ancient Tomb. We already played our land for turn. Counter one of these Manamorphoses. Get the other one. Make some red. Into a Ral that just gets countered. We can make a bunch of mana and we're just dead on board. Okay, yeah. We tried. Yeah, Chalice on 2 is kind of a bitch. Alright, well, let's see if we can just pop off super fast in game 3. That being said, since they are Mono Red Stompy, like, we could bring the Byforce in, seeing as they are trying to get a Chalice on 2. That might be our best bet, honestly. Like, Defense Grid really isn't doing much of anything. We can bring in the other Blast Zone as well. That's a way to get rid of a... actually, no, Blast Zone doesn't even do it. Because you can never have 0 charge counters on it. So I actually take that back. We could also bring in the Fiery Confluence. that's a way to deal with it. We just bring all of our artifact removal in main deck so that we don't have to rely on our wishes to kill it from the sideboard. And I mean, defense grid's going to be 100% useless, so this is probably the best way to board this. Yeah, just bring in the Bifrost and bring in the Fiery Confluence, take out the 2 defense grids, and just try to be faster than them. Alright, give me a blazing fast hand. I mean, I don't hate this. I can do some stuff here, so we're going to go ahead and keep this. I don't have a reducer, but in theory, I do have a turn 2 bonus round to start just trying to pop off. I could even turn 1 Reckless Impulse if I wanted to, but I think I'm better off waiting for turn 2 to try to be able to bonus round. And they're already mulliganing, so they would have to expend a ton of resources to be able to turn 1 Chalice onto. So even if they do that, that should give us time to be able to find a way back in. Like, admittedly, this hand in particular, Chalice on 1, is a little annoying. Ancient Tomb. Disruptor Flute. Okay, what are they going to name? I feel like they might name a ritual. They might just name Ral. Ruby Medallion. Okay, that's not in my hand. That's actually pretty fine here. And this is when we draw a Ruby Medallion. No, we hit a Rite of Flame. Okay. So we play Ancient Tomb. Play Desperate Ritual. This brings us up to 4 mana. Play bonus round, leaving 1 mana floating. We Rite of Flames with bonus round, so we get 4 mana. We Reckless Impulse, and hope that we hit something relevant. A Manamorphose and a Jeska's Will. And then there's the Ruby Medallion we can't cast. We can Jeska's Will for a bunch of mana, which I think... Actually, no, we can't yet. We need to play another Rite of Flame to make a bunch of mana. Then we can Jeska's Will for a bunch of mana, but I think we're going to Manamorphose first. I think this is going to lead to a shitload of Dragon's Line. There's a Ral. We can play that. That turns all these Manamorphose style cards into true rituals. Oh, and we had a Blast in Flames? Okay, yeah, we're absolutely golden from here. Play Jeska's Will for a metric fuck ton of mana. Yeah, this should be a pretty trivial win from here. Lost that flip. Same target. Make a metric fuckload of mana. Play a Past in Flames. Heads. Lost the flip. Okay. And our opponent scoops it up. Okay, pretty nice start to this league. I like it. On to with the next one. Alright, just racking up these die rolls. I like it. Turn 1 Ruby Medallion? Yeah. Please just don't force me, bro. I mean, it's a little risky keeping a 1-lander because we don't know if we're going to hit a land to be able to follow this up if it does get countered. But we're going to try for it. Play a Mountain, play a Rite of Flame, and play a Ruby Medallion. Ooh, that gets forced. Okay, forced. Okay, we're up against Doomsday. Force pitching a Personal Tutor. So we need another land to be able to get this other Ruby Medallion down. The nice part is that does mean that's 1 access to Doomsday gone. And, okay, they're going to Thoughtseize and probably take our Ruby Medallion if I had to take a guess here. So we need a land to be able to Reckless Impulse to try to find another Reducer. Yep, there goes the other Ruby Medallion. Do they have a follow-up? No. Land? Bonus round. Okay. Well, that's the risk of keeping a 1-lander sometimes. This is another deck we don't really have any good way to deal with sideboard-wise. We kind of just run it back and hope for the best. There's a Brainstorm from the opponent. Hopefully they were relying very heavily on that Personal Tutor to be able to find their Doomsday. Undercity Sewers, okay. Binning a Delta, so they must be good on lands. A Manamorphose we can't play, okay. Just pass the turn. I mean, that is the risk of keeping a 1-lander, especially in a very land-light deck like this. Polluted Delta, okay. Cracking the Delta. Do they have the Doomsday? Into an Underground Sea. Yep, this is going to be Doomsday. Alright. Alright, very quick pile from the opponent. 1, 2, 3. Alright, I only see 3 Force of Will, so there's a good chance they have another one. This is a version that has Quantum Riddler, which, if I remember right, that means it's a Wonder Pro list. Other than that, nothing too spicy here. I don't see any Dazes. No Lion's Eye Diamond. So there's a good chance there's a Force of Will somewhere. And we just gotta hope that it is not in their hand and that we draw the land we need and get some lucky draws. Well, we hit an Ancient Tomb, so that's good. We will So, like, our best bet here is going to be Seething Song into bonus round and to try to go off that way. And if they have a Force of Will, we're kind of just dead. Alright, they're cycling. Did they put a Force of Will in their deck? Oh, they do have Dazes. Okay. Are they going to be able to go off with this line then? I'm assuming they set this up to be able to do it, but we're going to see what they can do here. Unless their whole deck is just Dazes until they can win. Okay, they're going to go off this turn. Land, Thassa's Oracle with 2 cards. Okay. So they do have Dazes. That's interesting that there were none in their exile. Unless I just missed something. Were there Dazes in exile? Okay, there was a Daze in exile. I just missed it. Okay. So, that being said, again, there's not really anything to even bother trying to bring in here. Like, we just run it back and hope for the best. Alright. I mean, the nice part about boarding with this deck is like, do you want ley lines? Yes or no? And that's really the extent of your sideboarding. One lander, cannot keep this. I think we can give this a shot. We'll go ahead and keep this. Let's put back one of the Desperate Rituals for now. Start out with a mountain, pass the turn. Swamp from the opponent. Thoughtseize. Okay, what are they going to take? Are they going to take the Ritual? Are they going to take the Ren's Resolve? What do they want to take here? I will say, Jeska's Will is kind of a weird impulse draw, because it's only until the end of that turn. Okay, they take the Jeska's Will. Interesting. In that case, then, we're probably just going to play the Ren's Resolve, try to set up for the following turn. Bonus round. So, we actually could bonus round into Ren's Resolve, but then our bonus round is gone. I think we're just going to Ren's Resolve, set up for next turn, and hope for the best. Assuming this doesn't get forced. If this gets forced, it's a little annoying. Alright, that resolved. And we hit a Ruby Medallion, so next turn, if we get that far, is going to be pretty damn good. Polluted Delta from the opponent, and it looks like a pass. So are they going to Force of Will my Ruby Medallion? Oh, nope, cracking the Polluted Delta, just going second main phase here. Into an island. Into a ponder. Okay, so they're looking for a counter, or they're trying to set up their follow-up. Did not shuffle. That makes me think they have a counter then? And a Burning Wish. Well, these are use them or lose them, so I don't know if they knew about this Ancient Tomb or not. I honestly don't remember. Okay, Force of Negation, Reality Ripple? Target artifact, creature, or land phases out. Okay, that is a card I have never seen before. Well, we're gonna Manamorphose. It's use it or lose it. Make 2 red. Into a Seething Song. Is there anything we can get for 2 mana out of our sideboard that we care about? For 2 mana, I don't think so. Well, hold on. Let's think here for a second. We can Desperate Ritual, Seething Song. That gets us to 5 mana. Burning Wish down to 3 mana. Grab a Rite of Flame. But that doesn't do anything. We can bonus round, get 2 Burning Wishes, get a Rite of Flame plus Inspired Tinkering, maybe? Or we can pass the turn and hope for the best next turn. Think we're better off waiting until next turn here. It feels a little bad to burn this mana off, but I think we're better waiting until next turn, so that we have more mana available to us to do things. And hopefully we don't pay the price and they just pop off from here. Alright, is opponent going to be a second main phase hipster? No, they're just straight passing the turn. Does that mean that they have a Force of Will or something? Manamorphose is interesting. We're going to start out with a Desperate Ritual to get some red mana under us. And then we're going to bonus round so that these rituals and everything gets doubled. It looks like they're debating if they want to counter this. Like, Daze doesn't do it. However, it does stop our bonus round line. Okay, they let that go. We're going to try for the bonus round, see if this gets a counter out of their hand. Looks like yes. Flusterstorm. Okay. Okay. We're getting stuff out of their hand. Well, we actually could, in theory, Manamorphose here to try to hit another Desperate Ritual to be able to pay for this. But then it doesn't do anything. So we're just going to let this go. And then we are going to go ahead and Manamorphose, see what we hit. Make some red mana into an Ancient Tomb. This is 4 mana, 7 mana. This lets us Inspire Tinkering. How long does Inspire Tinkering last for? Until the end of your next turn. Okay. So I think this is probably worth it. Okay, this actually puts us to 6 mana if this resolves. So that actually doesn't give us enough mana to be able to do that. So we can Burning Wish, grab Inspired Tinkering for next turn. We could also grab a Gambit and just hope for the best. We don't have enough mana to Elemental Eruption. Yeah, I think we're just going to grab Inspired Tinkering and try to set up for next turn. And if they have a counter for this, then I guess so be it. They had a Force of Will. That is disgusting. Okay. Opponent just has all the interaction, but is what it is. Now we have to rebuild, so we want some impulse draw effects. They're only down to 2 cards, though. We've got a lot of interaction out of them so far. There's nothing we can do, so we'll just pass the turn. Cycle to Street Wraith. Dark Ritual Doomsday? Looks like it. Okay. I mean, again, this happens. Like, this is a very interactive deck up against a deck that's kind of just trying to jam it. Alright, let's see what they got going on over here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, are they just going now? No, they're just setting up. I think they still have forces. They probably set up their deck to be able to just stop whatever I'm doing and go off this turn, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. Cycling a Street Wraith, floating some mana. Edge of Autumn. I'm assuming they left a land in their deck somewhere. Yeah, Cavern of Souls. Yep, they got this one. Well played, opponent. Well played. And there is the Oracle for the win. Okay, finally better match against Doomsday, but alright, on to the next one. Okay, so if we hit another land, this is fantastic, but I have already paid the price for keeping one lander, so we are going to ship it. That is a no-lander. We absolutely ship that. Oh my god, deck. Alright, we keep this. Put back Past in Flames and one of the mountains. And one of the Seething Songs. Alright, already off to a rough start this round, but such is magic. Into an Underground Sea, into a Tamiyo, so it looks like probably Dimir Reanimator again. We did beat this deck in round 1. However, we also didn't have to mulligan to 4. A Ruby Medallion. Well, we are going to try to start out with that. See if this gets dazed. It does. Okay. Can't pay for it. Well, next turn we're going to try to drop a Ral and hope for the best. Like I said, unfortunately, we just kind of mulliganed to oblivion here. Replay their Underground save. Get in with Tamiyo. Do they have the Brainstorm to flip the Tamiyo instantly? No, they have a Ponder. Like, the other problem is like, we could try to run this Ral out, but we don't really have any good follow-up for it. Did not shuffle with the Ponder. Into another Ancient Tomb. I think we are just going to run the Ral out around today's. Unfortunately, if they have Force of Will, like, there's not really anything we can do here. And they do have a Force of Will. Pitching another Tamiyo. That is annoying. Alright, well, we mulligan into Oblivion game 1. We should have just rolled the dice and kept the one-lander and see what happened, but it is what it is. That being said, we haven't seen if they're actually Reanimator yet. This very well could just be Tempo. We're also going to see if they have another land this turn or not. Okay, that flips the Tamiyo with a Brainstorm. So we are in very rough shape now. Like, this Tamiyo is a clock, 100%. We can't do anything, so we will pass the turn. Wasteland. Okay, well, we have a redundant Ancient Tomb. I'm not super concerned about that. They're actually a little low on stuff to do here. So we'll play another Ancient Tomb. All of our damage has been, like, self-inflicted. See what we get off of this. Another Mountain. That doesn't do anything. The one saving grace is our opponent does appear to be mana screwed, potentially. Alright, well, there goes our Seething Song. Ripped by a Thoughtseize. They do appear to be... Oh, no, there's another land. I was about to say, they do appear to be mana screwed, but they're not. They binned an Underground Sea. They've only got 2 cards left in hand. I mean, we will play Defense Grid. At least shut off their counter magic if we somehow manage to pull back into this. But we've got one draw step to chain a bunch of shit together. Like, we need a hell of a rip-off of the top here. Like, Reckless Impulse gets us started into an Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. So, this is looking like tempo. What do we get? I mean, we said a Reckless Impulse was the way that this starts. And it does resolve, but we hit 2 Seething Songs. I mean, we might be able to work our way through a single counterspell depending on what we top deck, because they are only going to be able to cast one thing thanks to this defense grid, unless they manage to hit their 1 or 2 of Brazen Borrower to bounce the defense grid and then unlock all their free counter magic, but we'll see. The only reason I'm still playing this out is because of this defense grid. Okay. And 2. So it is Reanimator. At least we have confirmation on that for sideboarding purposes now. Gonna reanimate the Atraxa. They don't have any mana available to be able to counter us, though. So if we hit something good off of the top, we still have a shot here. But we're gonna have to, like, rip some absolute bangers. Chose Ponder and Tomb, Brazen Bar, or Wasteland. So they're gonna take out our Ancient Tomb. And then, yeah, we need an impulse draw and to hit some absolute bangers off of that impulse draw, or we are dead. Yep, plays a Wasteland, takes out our Ancient Tomb. Alright, what is the top of our deck? That's really all it comes down to. It has to be some kind of card draw effect. Past in Flames. This might get us there? I haven't done the math yet. Whoops. Pressed the wrong ritual there. I don't think it does, though, because this is going to put us up to 5 mana, and we don't have any 1 mana spell in the graveyard to be able to cast. Yeah. 1 mana short, and we would have been able to pull back into that one. But, I mean, we mulled to 4, so I don't really know there's much you can say about how that went. That being said, I think we're going to do what we did last time. I think we brought in 2 ley lines, took out a Seething Song. Maybe we just take all the Seething Songs out, bring all the ley lines in. It's our worst ritual, and this will hopefully shut off their easy win. We learned to do not board your lands out. Other than that, there's not really anything worth bringing in. Maybe we just do 3 ley lines. Like, problem is they could completely board out their graveyard package, anticipating ley lines, and it won't even matter, but sure, let's... Or, no, there was one more Seething Song I missed. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna try that. Okay. Let's not have to mulligan into Oblivion. Okay. I'll keep this. I think we're gonna Rens Resolve on 2. This is a little awkward if they just have the, like, Entomb Reanimate 1-2 start, but like I said during sideboarding, there is always the possibility they just completely boarded it out. There are also worlds where we can win around that. Blooded Shrimp from the opponent. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. I'm assuming this means that Ral is going to disappear here. On the next part, well, I mean, they still always could Entomb Reanimate on their turn on turn 2, but... Yep, took the Ral. Okay. We hit a Metamorphose. I think we're going to start off with Rens Resolve, try to set up for next turn. Okay. We hit a Ruby Medallion, which should allow us to start going off next turn. They have 6, so I'm guessing that means they don't have counter magic. Either that or they just didn't care. Blue mana. Okay, so I shouldn't get Entomb Reanimated this turn. Into a Brainstorm. So we want to dodge a Force. We can play around a Daze with the Pinnacle Monk. Into an Undercity Sewers. Okay. So they could double Daze, and they're bidding an Atraxa, so that makes me think they have the Reanimate. Past in Flames. Well, we'll play this. We will absolutely bolt ourselves. Play Ruby Medallion. Okay, they are F6'd. We are going to start off with a Metamorphose. Okay, this is promising for us here. That is a Rens Resolve. I think we're going to do another Metamorphose first, since they're F6'd, and get as much value as we can, because now we can bonus round, and then Metamorphose to Ritual again. So they're giving us the okay that we are clear to kind of just pop off and go crazy. And we hit a land. Unfortunately, we already hit our land drop. Into a Rite of Flame. Okay. So we're pretty much golden now. Then we can Rens Resolve. Get 2. This should be fairly trivial to be able to pop off here. Just to be safe. And our opponent scooped it up. Okay, cool. So we were able to dodge. They were probably setting up to be able to reanimate there by setting up that Atraxa to be able to bin it with the Undercity Sewers. That being said, on the draw, I think we just run it back. All right. So, I mean, this is a great hand if I can get there. If they just go for straight Entomb Reanimate right off of the bat, this hand is pretty terrible. They're mulliganing to 6, though. I think we're going to keep it. Like, we just hope they don't have the 1-2 Entomb Reanimate on turn 1. Opponent went to 6. Starting out with the Thoughtseize. I'm assuming that means our Ral is gone, but we have the Impulse Draw to be able to try to go off. It also means that we're not getting end of turn 1 Entombed. Yep, there goes Ral. That's kind of to be expected. We hit a defense grid, so we are absolutely going to slam that on turn 1 so that we know our shit resolves. Bloodstained Mire. Cracking it. They could Entomb Reanimate here still, but we'll see. At least we know their counter magic is off for right now. Into an Underground Sea. Alright. Do they have the Reanimate to back this up? Archon of Cruelty. Okay, they do. I think we're just going to get rid of our land and hope that we can pull some shit off here. Another reducer would be great. Desperate Ritual is interesting. We are going to go ahead and start off with the Desperate Ritual. And then we could Ritual again to go up to 5 to set up a double Reckless Impulse. And then they have 1 turn to try to kill us. We go to 3. We have 5 cards to work with. Or we can try to Reckless Impulse first. But we're going to lose our card. So I think we want to just go ahead and double Reckless Impulse here. Because it's kind of a use it or lose it situation, unfortunately. Get 4 fresh cards. And then we have 5 to try to go off with next turn. And we do hit a land. And we have a Manamorphose and a Burning Wish. But we got 1 draw step to get out of this. If they just hit a land drop, pass. Okay, they're not going to have counter magic up. Unless they hit land, Brazen Borrower, and Counterspell. Okay, Undercity Sewers. We're going to get hit. They bin to Brazen Borrower. Alright, this is our 1 draw step to do it. That was absolutely worthless. Alright. Well, in Manamorphose we trust. I hit an absolute banger off of this. I can Past in Flames, and then I have no mana. I can Burning Wish. If I Burning Wish, I go down to 2 mana. Rite of Flame puts me back up to 3 mana. Yeah, they just got this one. A little unfortunate, just a little too slow. But alright, let's see if we can get a positive record in the final round. Alright, final round, lost to Dyrel. Up against Velgrim. I recognize the name. Not sure what they play. This isn't terrible. We can turn 1 Rend Resolve to set up for the following turn, but then we don't have mana for the Seething Song. I think we're going to keep, probably just start off on Mountain Pass unless we draw something better to do. Lotus Petal from the opponent. And Undercity Sewers. I'm guessing this is Doomsday, based off of what I'm seeing here. Binned a Sail into the West. Alright, this is some kind of brew combo deck, I'm assuming, based off of what I'm seeing here. I've never seen this card played before. It's basically a draw 7, so I'm guessing they are on a Storm deck of some sort. We draw an Ancient Tomb. Since it looks like they have draw 7s, I actually am going to start off here with Rend's Resolve, just to bank some extra cards in case they wheel us. Defense Grid and Burning Wish. Neither one of those particularly do anything with our hand. Gemstone Mire from the opponent. Okay. I really don't know what our opponent's doing over there. This is screaming some kind of combo deck, but I've never seen a combo deck with Sail into the West. Maybe this is a weird version of, like, the Epic Gamble. Could just be a version of Storm that has even more draw 7s. Yeah, I really don't know what the hell our opponent's doing over there. Whatever they're doing, they're passing the turn. But we really don't have much going on, unfortunately. Pinnacle Monk doesn't really do anything. I think we're just going to go ahead and Burning Wish, go grab Inspired Tinkering to set up for next turn. And then we will hope we get another turn and try to Inspired Tinkering to loop some shit together. And it looks like opponent is still just passing. Reckless Impulse. Well, we will play an Ancient Tomb so we can play around to Daze in case they have one. To Seething Song. Like, I'm seeing blue. They could have Force of Will. I really do not know what the hell is going on over there. That resolved. Let's Inspire Tinkering. That resolved. We hit a Ral and some lands. I mean, I guess we're going to play Ral here. They seem to be letting shit resolve. And then we will Reckless Impulse. We'll say heads. Won the flip. No, we are not going to flip it. A Past in Flames I can't do anything with yet. So I guess we're going to pass the turn and hope that we get another turn. Because with that Past in Flames, we can kind of just go off next turn. They have 6 cards in hand, though, so I don't know what the hell's going on over there that they aren't playing anything. Like, luckily they've only got 3 mana. Their Mox Opal isn't turned on yet. Getting some mana. They are Burning Wishing. Okay, so it's definitely some kind of weird storm deck. Or a Beseech the Mirror. And passing the turn. Okay. So they are trying to set up to do something here. We hit a Rite of Flame. I like that a lot. I think we just want raw mana here. So we're going to start off with Rite of Flame. Won the flip. We are not going to flip it yet. Then we are going to go ahead and do this. I should have paid attention to what mana I was playing. Silence! Okay. Interesting. I won the flip. This would put it to 5, right? Comes in with 2 loyalty, puts it to 5. Yeah, that's not enough. No, we will not flip. Okay. I mean, that's something. Hopefully they can't do anything else. So our opponent is on a hell of a brew, and I'm loving it. But they have a Beseech the Mirror, so I'm very concerned about that being able to do things. Well, there's a Dark Ritual. Main deck Silence is crazy. Can they go off, or are they just setting up to try to go off next turn? What is this going to be? A Song of Creation. Do they have 0 drops? They do? Okay. I mean, I guess we just see if they can string it together. So this is just a crazy version of Storm. Got it. I mean, they're still restricted on mana. Okay, there's a Chrome Mox. That turns on their Mox Opal. I'm assuming that means that they can win from here. So we'll see what their actual win con is. Veil of Summer, just to cycle and draw a card. There's land number 1. Okay. Do they have another Beseech to go grab a Tendrils? I'm assuming they must by now, right? Okay, there's Burning Wish for Tendrils. Let's just see the Tendrils. So we're up against another Storm deck. Main deck Silence is insane, though. And yet again, we don't really have anything we want to board. It's just going to straight up be a race, is essentially what this is going to be. So, I mean, we just run it back. All right, well, let's see if we can squeak back in this. That main deck Silence was absolutely insane. This, unfortunately, is not keepable. Neither is this. All right, deck, come on. I mean, we keep this, and I guess we put back Desperate Ritual. Like, we put back Desperate Ritual, Burning Wish, and just hope for the best. Desperate Ritual goes back, Burning Wish goes back. And we go Mountain, Rite of Flame, Ral, and we hope this Ren's Resolve does something and our opponent can't turn 1 us. Underground Sea from the opponent, and a pass. Okay. We hit a Manamorphose. We will play Ancient Tomb. I think we're going to start out with Manamorphose. We can play around a Daze. They might have Force of Will. We are not going to flip Ral yet. See what we draw. We draw a Rite of Flame. Let's go ahead and Ren's Resolve. Won the flip. No, we are not going to flip it yet. Seething Song, Ren's Resolve. I don't think I want a Seething Song yet. Like, the problem is what's worth more? This is worth 3 mana. So I think we want to Rite of Flame first. Won the flip. Do not transform. Make 3 mana. Play a Ren's Resolve. Heads. Won the flip. No, we do not want to flip him yet. Ral and a bonus round. We could bonus round try to flip the Ral and hope he flips in one of these next 2 flips. Actually, shit, that doesn't do it. Blue mana. Alright. Win the flip. Won the flip. Since I can't do anything else yet, I am going to go ahead and flip the Ral so that I can negative it next turn. Blue mana. What is this? Oh my god. Into the Floodmaw? Into another Ral. Okay. Our opponent's deck is fucking wild. But we have two more Rowls, and we have a Seething Song, so I mean, I guess we'll see where they can go from here, but like I actually wouldn't hate if they wheeled us here, as long as it doesn't wheel them into a win. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire, and looks like they are passing the turn. We get another Ancient Tomb. So what? We're gonna lose the Seething Song regardless, so I think we're just gonna play the Row and hope for the best here. Like, we're losing the Seething Song no matter what happens, unfortunately. Like, we could play it, but there's not really a point. Like, I suppose it being in the graveyard would be fine, but there's not a huge reason to play the Seething Song at the moment. Just realized I forgot to play my land. I'm just so enthralled by my opponent's brew right now that I'm like, we got a Taiga off of their Bloodstained Mire. And a Plateau. Okay, this is an insane deck, I'm not gonna lie. Put an Echo of Eons under that. Is this that Debark thingy? No, it's just playing a Song of Creation. Do you have the 0-drops to go with it? Gemstone Mine. Another Into the Flood Maw to draw some cards. Okay. And they don't have to gift me a fish this time, but they don't have anything. They're playing off the top of their deck now. Ooh, lost to Tendrils. Another Mountain. I mean, we're just going to play the Ral and hope the top of their deck is just lands. Or stuff that they can't cast. I will say, like, I'm in love with my opponent's deck. It's a very interesting take on Storm. They also lost their guy as well, so graveyard lines are off. They hit a land. The hope is that they just bin whatever they see, and that they're still drawing wild. No, they kept whatever was on top, so I need to hit something good here. I actually would love a Past in Flames here. Like, if I can find one of my Past in Flames, that would be great. Jessica's Will. Okay. Play an Ancient Tomb. Cast this. Exile the top 3. Overpay a smidge. Heads. Won the flip. Do not flip. Show me some good cards, deck. Pinnacle Monk, Manamorphose, Rite of Flame. So we need to start with the Rite of Flame so that we have mana. Say heads. Won the flip. Do not flip. Manamorphose. Say heads. Lost the flip. Okay. Draw a Mountain. So we can... we haven't played a land yet, so play the land. Or maybe we did. Okay. So we need to Pinnacle Monk, cast this, use colorless mana for this, and then I think we need to get back Jessica's Will here, because it's going to cost 2, flip the top 3, and hope that we hit something relevant. So grab Jessica's Will back, play Jessica's Will, exile the top 3, go down to 1 mana, won the flip. No, we do not want to flip. We hit a mountain and we hit 2 mountains and a ruby medallion. That is just awful. Okay. Well, we gotta hope that whatever they kept on top doesn't lead to a win. But the fact that they kept something on top scares me. And now we just F6 the turn. And it looks like it's probably a Beseech the Mirror? No? 5 mana. What is this? No, it is a Beseech the Mirror. For what? Into a draw 7. Yeah, we're probably just dead here. They have mana floating, and it's a draw 7 with an active Song of Creation. I don't think it really matters what we vote for. It's going to turn into the draw 7. Yes, I will discard my hand and draw 7. If they somehow fizzle from here, we got a shot, but the chances of them fizzling from here are slim to none. Into a Silence. Yeah, I can't cast anything at instant speed anyways. Like, this is a really cool take on Storm, I'm not going to lie. We started out super, super strong, but unfortunately, some unfortunate variants and mulligans, and some of our opponents just having all the interaction in the world kind of did us in here, but super, super cool deck. Like, Velgrim, if you see this, this is a super cool take on Storm. I actually really like this version of it. That new draw 7 looks pretty sweet. And the Tendrils is on the stack, and we scoop it up. Good game, Velgrim. I actually really like this version of Storm. I really like it. So we started off real strong in this league and unfortunately fizzled out in the back half, but overall, I do think that this league did a really good job showcasing what this deck can do and what it's supposed to do. It really showcased just how resilient this deck is with the redundancy and the ability to overwhelm your opponents. but it did show that you're not really trying to interact with your opponents. And with the way the meta is currently, it's all about interacting with your opponent when they're on hyper efficient decks, and with tempo being such a huge part of the meta right now. And while this deck does typically have a pretty good matchup against tempo, they do have a lot of tools to be able to interact with this deck and be able to shut it down, whether it's through discard, counter spells, or Dimir Reanimator being able to just have a blazing fast win that doesn't give you enough time to really be able to build up your resources. But the deck was an absolute blast to play. It did pretty much exactly what it was supposed to do. Overall, though, I would say this is just not the meta right now to be trying to play Storm. Unfortunately, all the variants are not doing very well at the moment. There are some diehard Storm players that are putting up results with various versions of the Epic Storm, but pretty much every other variant of Storm right now just is not very good. And it does pain me to say that, being a Black Saga Storm gamer in paper. So it kind of sucks my own personal pet deck isn't very good right now, but this kind of falls into the same category of just being a go fast combo deck. But it was a ton of fun. On the plus side, it also has no reserve list cards in it. So it's actually pretty cheap to be able to build in paper outside of Ancient Tombs costing quite a bit of money, but they're not reserve list levels of money. So I think this is a great option if you want to go play it in FNM and you have to have the cards in paper. So highly recommended for that. But the deck was an absolute blast to play. Little disappointed on the record. We saw some bad variants, and then some opponents were able to just stockpile enough interaction that we couldn't make our way through it in time. But anyways, I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that. Go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.